What's up guys, Matt here, and welcome to my daily news show where I talk about today's stories that I wanted to share with you all. If you like it, make sure you let me know by hitting that thumbs up button and subscribe so I can see you tomorrow. So we'll start out today's story with the coming release of Amazon's new smartphone. It's expected to rival some of the bigger name phones like the iPhone, the Samsung Galaxy, that kind of thing. We're gonna have to wait 2 more weeks though, as it's slated to come out on June 18th. One of the main features that seems to be getting a lot of attention right now is its 3D capabilities. Its expected 3D capabilities, I should say. I've read several stories about this now, and the authors of all these articles keep trying to pump up everyone about its 3D capability. And I just don't understand the fascination with these 3D devices. We already had a 3D phone a few years ago that was supposed to be the harbinger of the future. You remember this phone? It was just an average smartphone with a crappy 3D display. Or do you remember like 2009, 2010-ish, when everyone just had to have a 3D TV? They were buying up supplies, people were waiting in line for those. Oh, you don't remember that? That's because nobody cares. The only people who had 3D TVs back then were the ones who could afford to drop $11,000 on one. The companies who make it, the manufacturers, were pushing it so hard and nobody bought one. 3D is one thing for the movie theater or the IMAX theater where they show those documentaries like at the museum and stuff, where it's like a 300-inch screen or whatever. But on a 5-inch phone display or even like a 60-inch TV, I mean, damn, just give it a rest. And from there, we'll jump into this next story. Don Zimmer has passed away at age 83. If you don't really follow baseball, he was a coach, a player, a manager, an advisor, like a front office guy, and so many other things to so many other people in his span of 66 years in Major League Baseball. That is a long time. His most recent job was as senior advisor for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, but he's probably most known for charging at Pedro Martinez in the 2003 ALCS. Martinez actually wound up throwing him to the ground. I feel like a lot of people have just been passing away lately. It's kind of sad. But you know what people say, they always go in threes. Maya Angelou, Ann B. Davis, and now Don Zimmer. They were all three very influential people in their respective fields, and I'm sure they'll be missed. This next story is about GM firing 15 people over this recall business. Chief Executive Mary Barra called the investigation brutally tough and deeply troubling. Apparently there was a lot of incompetence in these GM ranks because it took 11 years for these recalls to start. Main problem is the ignition switch slipping out of the run position, which would disable airbags, disable power assistance for steering and brakes, among many other things. And this defect has been the cause of many crashes and many deaths. GM has said they will be accepting claims beginning on August 1st for affected models that were made between 2003 and 2011. Now, I think it's always scary when something like this happens. I mean, people cause enough accidents by themselves. They don't need the car manufacturer's help with failing electrical systems or anything else. I'm kind of surprised to hear this news because I have some personal experience with this issue. I drive a 2009 Chevy Cobalt, which is part of the model that were affected by the recall. I called their support center to get some more information on the recall, and they were extremely dismissive of me, like it was no big deal. I'm looking into trading in my car or selling it because I just don't trust it anymore after this. The car was supposed to be good to go right away, not, fuck it, we could get away with it. I knew about this problem for a long time. The investigation showed there was no cover-up, but they were very slow in getting started. I feel for the people who have negatively experienced this defect and possibly been in a crash or something else that was dangerous. I'm glad that I personally have not experienced that, but like I said, I'm just not comfortable driving it anymore. Have any of you ever had a vehicle recalled? Were you still okay with driving it, or maybe you were a little bit uneasy? Maybe I'm just overreacting. Let me know in the comments down below. So this last story I have for you guys today is about prenuptial agreements for social media. And yes, it sounds a little bit weird, but I actually think this is a good idea. Right now, unless you take it to the police, if after you break up with your significant other and post something derogatory or embarrassing or whatever, something about them on Facebook or other social media, nothing will happen. I think the worst example of this is the revenge porn, where you try to get even by posting a naked picture or a sexual video, something like that. However, if you sign a social media prenup, they can be fined or, whatever other penalty you have outlined in the contract. And like I said, obviously posting naked pics that aren't yours are illegal in the first place, but this seems like some good extra incentive. The article I read stated that some of the more rich couples were fining each other $50,000 for breaches of this contract. And while the average person, myself included, could not afford a $50,000 fine for anything, maybe something similar to this would be a good thing to put into an agreement. I don't know, just some food for thought, I guess. Alright, we'll wrap up today's show with the question of the day. Do you have a 3D phone or TV, or do you like the idea of having one? Do you feel like it's something technology should be trying to move us towards? I'd love to know your thoughts on the question of the day, or anything else I talked about in today's show, in the form of a comment down below. Alright, with that, I will take my leave. Before you go, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Be sure to stick around a little bit longer for the UrbanDictionary.com word of the day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Well, today's UrbanDictionary.com word of the day is Q-gasm. Q-gasm, 9. The sensation one experiences while cleaning one's ear canal with a Q-tip. Time for a shower and a Q-gasm. Now this one just made me laugh. I love cleaning out my ears after I get out of the shower. It feels really good, so I know what this one means. Or you put a little peroxide in your ears and let it sit and then let it drip out. On an unrelated note, does anyone else like sneezing? I like it. It feels really good. Alright, hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.